Hello folks, and welcome to what I hope will be a new video series and a new route that we're going to be taking with some of our conversion projects. So, as we can see here, we've had a delivery today. So why don't I go ahead and get myself a knife and take off some of this plastic, and we see what's actually hidden in here. So, if we were to take a guess of what's here, the general shape, we've got kind of thin here at the back and wide at the front, would indicate a gearbox shape. So let's see if that's what we actually have here. So let's see if I can just make some incisions here. It's been very well wrapped. Extremely well wrapped actually. And my knife is extremely blunt. Nothing more dangerous than a blunt knife. Right, there we go. Oh, we've got a shape. We've got something in here. My knees are quite sore, hence the pad from kneeling. Oh yeah, okay. Let's see what we've got. Wow. It definitely looks like a gearbox. I've got some definite gearbox-like shapes and things going on here. So why would I be showing you guys a gearbox? Well, let's see if we can delve a little bit deeper and see if we can get some of these. Oh, we've got it tied in with two ratchet straps. Well, that's very good. So the person that sent this to me done a very good job of actually packaging it, and we'll be discussing more on that later. But first of all, we need to see what's here. Always handy to have ratchet straps, but I guess I can send them back to him if so required. Now, the unfortunate aspect here is that it's been ratcheted down to the bottom, and so I can't actually press it down to release the tension. So please don't make it so I have to cut it. I should be able to lift the pawl. Oh, there we are. I think I managed to lift it. Here we are. That's giving me a little bit of there we are. That's it. Yay. Alright. There's one of them off. This one's a heavier duty type. Again, unfortunately, I have to try and get in there and just lift the pawl from the ratchet. Hopefully, no, this one's done way too well, I'm afraid. I can't. Always when you're on camera. Let me see if I can make some. Quite a tiny little fella. Expecting it to be bigger. Alright. There we are. Bingo. Alright. Okay. So, more black stuff that we need to get rid of. So let's try for a different angle while we do that. Okay. Let's see. Start around the front, I guess. Oh yeah. Got some bell housing action going on here. Oh yeah. Here we go. Okay. That need an electrical connection by any chance? Looks like I have a gearbox. What kind of a gearbox is it? Okay, so we've got wooden blocks here to so let's get in for a bit of a closer look. Okay, so what are we noticing immediately, apart from the fact that it's really clean? First thing I notice are these two guys. They look like electrical connections, and there's three of them. Could they be for three-phase motors? Yes, they are. Folks, what we have here is so whether to call it an, I suppose, automatic gearbox is perhaps doing it some injustice, but this is a gearbox from a Lexus GX 450h hybrid vehicle, and we are going to be doing some serious work with this piece of kit. So why don't I get it up on the bench, get rid of this pallet, and we'd be able to get a much better view of the various components and indeed what we're going to be doing with it. Okay folks, we got her up on the bench here. So why don't I explain what we have, what we're going to try to do, and why we're going to be doing it. Well, what I have here is I suppose the American word transmission is probably a better description of what this guy is. We tend to use the term gearbox here in Europe, but this is definitely better described by the word transmission. So, what have we got? Well, if we have a look into the bell housing here, we have what looks to be a manual gearbox input shaft, and I can spin it, but it spins in a very strange kind of a feel to it. Whereas on the side I have a shifter linkage, which would be more commonly seen on an automatic gearbox. So this guy has came out of a Lexus GX 450h hybrid vehicle, which is basically manufactured by Toyota. Now, why would I have an interest in just such a piece of kit? Well, kind of need to go back a few weeks, and before I say any more, let me clear up totally that this is not my idea. I'm basically copying some things that I've seen done, and hopefully going to learn some more and feed some of that knowledge back into the community. So I noticed a thread pop up on the DIY electric forum a few weeks ago. There was a gentleman in the US was looking at using a Lexus GX 450h hybrid gearbox as a drivetrain to put in a BMW 330ci. and his idea was that he could basically put this guy in where the original standard automatic gearbox was in the car, connect up drive shaft and shifter cables and electrical connections, and this would be the entire drivetrain, because inside here are two very powerful internal permanent magnet three-phase AC motors. So his idea then was that this would be the drivetrain, so the entire engine compartment of the car would be entirely free for batteries and whatever else one would need to fit, and it would leave the car internally and in the boot area completely normal. And I must say, when I saw that, I kind of said to myself, why didn't I see this, or why didn't I think of doing this before I kind of went through all the work of getting the Siemens motor and the 5HP24 set up and getting all of that work done and getting it installed in the Panzer and building an inverter and all this stuff. But anyway, transpired then some time after that, I got into a three-way conversation with Michael Elias in Switzerland, and I hope I'm going to pronounce this name correctly, Miroslav Vegman in the Czech Republic, and Michael is developing the UMC drive board to enable the reuse of automotive three-phase inverters and drivetrains, and Miroslav and Michael and myself just got talking, and Miroslav had done quite a lot of work on researching information about this particular gearbox, and it turns out, cost-wise, that these guys, it would seem, in Eastern Europe can be had for very little money indeed. Prices vary, I believe something in the region of 500 to 1,000 euros, depending on condition, mileage and things like that. So I was very much wanting to get my hands on one, and because I really wanted to see what was actually going on here and see how it could be utilised for a vehicle project. Now, I'll be doing a lot more detailed diagrams and stuff about how all the systems work in this particular gearbox, but what it turned out to be was that Miroslav had picked up this particular box, and we decided that he would ship it to me, which he very kindly did, so thanks a lot, Miroslav. And I received it here today and just got it up on the bench, and I'm going to be doing some work with this particular unit, particularly investigating if we can reduce the stator voltage requirement for the motors. In the Toyota application, they have a boost converter that kicks the voltage up to something in the region of 6 to 650 volts DC to feed the inverter to run our two internal permanent magnet motors. So you guys can be looking forward to a lot of detailed video on this particular transmission, as I'm going to have to teach myself to call it. But the short version, what have we got here? Pretty much in my guarded opinion at this point, we have the ideal drivetrain for an electric vehicle. So let's kind of start off here. Well, we've two, as I said, internal permanent magnet motors. The power rating, I think, at the top of my head, on MG1, which is in the front, is something in the region of 50 to 60 kilowatts. And I believe MG2, which is in the back, part of the casing here, is something in the region of, I think, 110 or 120 kilowatts. So I just have to check those figures. But it's not only that we've got two nice motors in here. There's a lot more going on. Firstly, we have a 2-speed automatic gearbox in here, connected to these motors by a very clever power split system. Now, so I've got very compact, powerful internal permanent magnet motors. I have a 2-speed electrically shifted automatic transmission. I've got a parking pole. I've got a liquid cooling system here. This entire box is filled full of automatic transmission fluid, and there is a oil to water heat exchanger built in. That's one of the pipes here, and the other one is over the far side. It's liquid cooled, the whole thing is. I'm starting to sound like a car salesman. Anyway, so we've got liquid cooling, AC motors, 2-speed automatic, electronically shifted, parking pole, and the last piece of the puzzle, if you see this piece of rag here, anyone that's done a conversion using an automatic transmission will have faced the problem that an electric motor does not need to idle. Excuse me. But standard hydraulic planetary automatics are based upon the premise that you have a minimum input speed on the shaft to keep the pump spinning and to keep pressure up so you can go into gear. Now, as you'll recall on the Panzer, I'm actually idling the Siemens motor at about 500 RPM just to keep the pump running. So this little rag here is just blanking off. There's a little kind of a mounting plate here. These gearboxes are designed to drive the Lexus when the engine is not running. So in order to do that, they have an auxiliary pump mechanism which fits onto this area here, which unfortunately is not on this particular gearbox. I'll explain that in another video, but we'll pick one up anyway. And that lets us run a small, again, 3-phase motor that keeps the hydraulic pressure up in the clutch packs in here, so that we can pretty much, as soon as we start to turn one of the motors and we have a gear engaged, we get drive coming out of our prop shaft flange here. So at the minute it's in park, so that flange is completely locked. As a standard shifter cable attaches here, and if I put a pair of pliers on that and go one click, that would be reverse. I can now turn the output shaft. You can kind of hear that, and feel the motors in there. So that would be reverse, that would be neutral. Probably doesn't make much difference now when there's no pressure. So that's in neutral. One more click, I guess, would be drive. I think it has a low range on this. I think it's PRNDL in the Lexus. Nope, that's it actually. PRND, so that's perfect. Just go back to park, and there's the parking pole locked in. So, sorry with the bad video, guys. I'm kind of a bit wrecked. I've been working a lot of long hours recently, but this guy has the potential to be a very interesting project for us. I'm going to have to hunt down connectors for a lot of these. There's a lot of electrical connections on this box. There's, for example, there's a connector here for the shifter position. There's a connector over here which I believe is the resolver. Is the resolvers for the two motors, and I think then we have another connector which is for the solenoids for shifting the gears, etc. So that's it, guys. That's our Lexus GX 450H. I guess automatic transmission. So look out for some more videos soon on this in this particular series. And we will be going through, I'm going to get some of the animations that I have and run you guys through how all the motors and the power split, drivetrain, planetary gear things work out. But yeah, we got a lot of work to do. I'm babbling, so back soon, and as always, thanks for watching and stay tuned, there's more to come.